Well, the staff were extremely friendly, and I was lucky in my job that I wasn't totally tied down to engineering department. Inevitably, you had links with other departments because of, for example, use of rooms. If we had free rooms, the other departments were allowed to use them and vice versa. So there was a close relationship between the deputy heads and the heads of departments and senior staff, certainly.
My first impression when I came to work here is how supportive they were of new employees, and I was quite shocked that I expected to walk in and everything would be there that I would be teaching, and it was a rude awakening that no, you've got to prepare all of your lessons. So that was quite a culture shock, because when you work in an office, everything's there for you. But actually, as part of the enjoyment of the job is that you're creating your own materials and hoping that the students learn from them.
Our staff all met together. Sometimes the library staff couldn't do it because we have a counter duty, so we can't always get away to have breaks. But when we could, we go down there, every member of the staff was in the common room. We all had tea and coffee together, cakes sometimes and biscuits. We ran a raffle, we did a tombola, we all put our names down, we joined the staff association. We had a massive staff association, and you paid so much money, you know, if you want to go on trips. And we had organised trips, theatre visits, etc.
In the summertime, we used to have a sports tournament. So the person who was in charge of PE organised competitions in all kinds of sports, and then we had a big prize giving for all the people who'd won those competitions. So we don't have any of that sort of thing now.
First AGM was in the December of '93, and it's been going ever since. And the whole idea was, as the Constitution says, was to keep old friends in touch, mainly through social activities. And that's been the case ever since. As soon as you meet somebody, it's almost as if you haven't left them from 12 months ago. And inevitably, within a few seconds, the old stories and anecdotes and funnies come out in the conversation of, do you remember so-and-so and so-and-so? It sounds dreadful, very dreadfully old hat, but it's fun, and it keeps us in touch. So the Retired Association has been a great success, really.
There's been lots of changes over the last 20 years with the courses that we offer, very often due to government changes, because education is always on the high list of any government, that what can we do, what can we make changes in, and it's going to be education, health or the police. So we do suffer a lot of changes, sometimes for the better, I would say very rarely for the worse, because as long as the student succeeds, then that's all that matters, that the student has achieved a qualification that's recognised. We've had lots of challenges over the last 20 years with all the changes, and there's still lots of challenges to come, but we get on with it and we cope with it. We question sometimes why they do it, but we have no choice, it has to be done. But I think one of the best changes I've seen was the introduction of the BTEC courses, and that students now realise they don't have to do the academic route. Yes, it's preferable to some, but not preferable to all, and that they have more choice. That's the biggest change I've seen, and more choice that will take them on to higher education and good jobs.
Right, first of all, you know, if you're looking at the curriculum change, it's changed a lot now. It's supply and demand really, because it's based all on that. You know, whatever's need out there, we supply. And whereas in the past, right, if you want to do a subject, study a subject as a hobby, you was allowed to do that because there was funding for it, and all that's been cut now. So I think, has it changed for the better or worse? I think in certain aspects it's changed for the better, because if you supply and demand, you'll get a better job if you do certain courses. On the other hand, for enrichment, right, of people's lives, and if they want to do something different, I think they've been deprived from it really.
I think in the early days of my time at the college, there was more of a sort of a personal tutor approach to the whole group, and staff showed a little more, well, they had time to as well, I have to say, but they showed more interest in what the whole thing about the student, that doesn't sound very good, but the holistic way that the students would learn, that their social lives, what their aspirations were, and try and get a sort of an overview of what that student wanted out of the course.
People I've taught, right, like if I go to New Cross Hospital, you know, there's doctors there I've taught. There's pharmacists that when I go to chemists I've taught. I've got to dentists, I've taught dentists, you know, because I teach A-level chemistry. So those are the all success stories really, to be honest. And some of them still keep in touch with me anyway, so.
Well, I've said already about how friendly I thought the staff were when I first came here, and the students, and I truly believe that hasn't changed. The people that work in this type of sector in further education, they're here because they care and they want to get people to succeed, and they want people to go on to university or get decent employment. So my impression then hasn't changed at all, because it was exactly the same in the 70s.